Good afternoon, and welcome to the show the mainstream media does not want you to see. I'm Gary Franchi, and today we're diving deep into the stories they're desperately trying to sweep under the rug. Folks, we're coming to you live from our studio, but our eyes and ears are everywhere. From the bustling streets of Pennsylvania to the corridors of power in Washington, we're bringing you the raw, unfiltered truth. Now, before we dive in, I want you to do something for me. Take out your phone. That's right. Right now. I want you to text. That's right. Text message 5 of your most red-pilled friends and tell them to tune in. Why? Because what we're about to discuss is too important to keep to yourself. We're not just reporting the news, we're bypassing the algorithm and taking our message straight to the people. And speaking of people, I see our live chat is already on fire. Keep those comments coming, Patriots. Your voice matters here. We'll be reading your reactions throughout the show, getting your pulse on these explosive stories. Now, let's talk about what is really going on. Pennsylvania is feeling the MAGA energy like never before. Trump's recent visit has the establishment quaking in their boots, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones joining forces, a powerhouse duo that's got the left losing sleep. And why wouldn't they? When truth tellers unite, the lies start to crumble. But hold on to your hats because we're just getting started. Remember those 741 former officials who just endorsed Kamala Harris? We're going to expose what this really means for you and your family. And if you thought the COVID hysteria was over, wait until you hear about the scandal that's rocking New York City. The very people who locked you down were living it up in ways that will make your blood boil. But perhaps the most chilling of all, we've got the explosive details on the letter from the man who tried to assassinate President Trump. The implications are staggering, and you won't hear this anywhere else. Now, I know what you're thinking. Gary, how do you keep bringing us these stories? Well, I'll tell you. It's because of you, our loyal viewers. You and your support keeps us on the air fighting the good fight. Let me tell you, we need that support now more than ever. So, buckle up, Patriots. We're about to take you on a wild ride through the stories that matter. This is the Next News Network, and we are just getting started. So, stay tuned, stay informed, and most importantly, stay free. And now it's time to welcome you to the show. Let's see who is in the house tonight. We got David, Bad Moon, Scott. We've got Courtney in the house, and Kathy, Pothead Kenny. What's up? Thanks for that super rant. We appreciate that. All super rants are accepted and highlighted here. Just a little note. And if you're not familiar with super rants, you got to go over to our Rumble feed, and that's where you can contribute directly to the show and have your voice elevated. Let's see who else is here. We got Jacqueline and Teresa and Michael in South Carolina. Wherever you're watching from, your city, your state, your country, wherever you're watching from, we'd love to hear it. So when you sound off, say, hey, this is Joe in Pennsylvania on my laptop, right? Whatever it may be. However you're comfortable with revealing that, because it helps all the people in the chat really get an understanding of the breadth of the program that we are broadcasting worldwide right here. Who else is in the house? Let's see. We've got Jerome and Scott and Courtney, Joe Carroll and Mike. William's here. What's up? Dave is here. 4 White Flowers. Marvin is in Pennsylvania. Kurt and Vicky are here. What's up? We got Mike in the house as well. Top of the day from Hurricane Shores, Florida. We got Kathy here from Kentucky. Karen in North Carolina. Janet. Oh, goes all the way back to the Art Bell days. Nice. Art Bell. Remember that guy? That guy was something else. I remember listening to him when I was a teenager and staying up late and listening to all the spooky stories he would share. Man, that guy got your mind moving, didn't he? The Haywire's in the house. Eric Fitzpatrick is here. Teresa, Joe, Shoryu. Jeremiah's in the house. And Shoryu just had some dental work. I hope you're doing okay in Virginia. Jeremiah, Courtney, and Linda in Colorado. I have a aunt named Linda in Colorado. Pibble is here in Tennessee. Love Tennessee. Just Jess is chiming in from Jersey. John's in Florida. Gray Lee is in a box in Conagra. Okay. Raymore's here. Margot. New England Biker. What's up? Newtown, Connecticut. Karen is Trump 2024, and Debbie is in Michigan. Simon's in Oregon. Twilla Gills in Georgia. Love Georgia. Love Georgia. Yes, I do. Yes, my grandfather was from Georgia, Macon to be exact. And I remember going on a little trip down there and seeing the old family plots in the cemetery. That was wild. That was a wild trip. Man, thinking about that for a second. My grandfather did not know, or he couldn't, he had a stroke. He couldn't really talk. And I remember him telling me, I was asking, who is your grandmother? Who is your grandmother? And he couldn't speak. He just said, Olive. And I said, well, I love you too, Grandpa. I love you too. And then when we went down to the plot, and there it was. There was her name on the headstone, Olive. That was a remarkable moment. Oh, I'll never forget that. Okay. Little trip down memory lane for you there. Scott's in Minnesota. Christine from Texas on the laptop. Patriot 1776 is in Kentucky. Mark is just saying a little hello. Who else we got here? Wow. Me, Fran in Illinois. What's up, Fran? William in Texas. What's up? Fate, Texas. Reno, Nevada. Lenny's there, hanging out. Michael in Arizona. Wow, everyone's in the house tonight. Great to see you guys. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we got a lot of news we got to get into. We would have done this show yesterday, but it got way too late. So we're bringing it to you now. Better late than never. But the news is still on fire. So let's jump into it. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves. We're about to dive into a story so shocking and so disturbing that it will make your skin crawl. The Department of Justice has just released a letter that should have every American question the very foundations of our justice system. Ryan Routh, the man who tried to assassinate President Trump, didn't just fail in his attempt, he left behind a chilling message that puts a price tag on the former president's head. The implications are earth-shattering. Now listen closely. As we witness the unraveling of our justice system, there's another crisis that is looming. Our national debt has skyrocketed past $35 trillion. The government's printing presses are working overtime, devaluing your hard-earned dollars, but here is the kicker. While paper money loses value, gold has surged past $2,400 an ounce. Folks, it's time to protect your wealth. Call Global Gold Investments. That's the number you see right there. 888-700-4148 now. Give them a call, mention Next News, and receive their 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. Not to be confused with Project 2025, which Donald Trump has no affiliation with. Yes, the 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide is absolutely free. You'll also get a complimentary portfolio analysis. Don't wait. Call 888-700-4148 or visit IRAGoldproof.com. Remember, if you don't have gold, you don't have wealth. Now, I want to get into this because, checking all the videos and the reactions to this letter has been pretty eye-opening. And there's one account that I follow on X, and it looks like, I believe it was Elon Musk even reposted this. So it got some eyeballs. Well, now you're going to see it. Democrats inspired Ryan Ruth and Matthew Crooks to kill. This is just the tip of the iceberg, folks, but this is going to wet your whistle for what we're about to reveal.
Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
Are they a threat to democracy? Yes. Are they going to take our rights away? Yes. Are they going to put people's lives in danger? Yes. Are they going to endanger the planet by not dealing with climate change? Yes.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
She's a genuine danger to American security.
There's
still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
We have to preserve our democracy, or speak out against lies and hate.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is.
President Biden has been clear-eyed about the threat that the former president represents to our democracy. Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy and our most fundamental freedoms.
Kamala needs to stop saying that President Trump is a threat to democracy. It's now being received by some unhinged people as a call to action. Enough is enough.
Republicans represent an extremism that threatens.
That video is absolutely true. The rhetoric and language coming from the left are inspiring people to take action in a very violent way, in a way that should be denounced by all sides. But you don't hear that denouncement from the Democrats. You only hear the amplification of it. That's just the beginning, my friends. Trump's latest would-be assassin wrote a letter that hit all the Democrat talking points. Days ago, over 100 government officials signed a letter hitting those exact same talking points. And the media blames Trump. By the way, amazing how they never call Biden unfit. Now watch this. This is a video of Kamala Harris. Now she's talking, you can see that little bubble floating over the letter. We're going to get into the details of the letter in a moment. But listen to these keywords.
He has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. He is dangerous and unfit. That is immoral. The nation, the republic, would never survive another Trump term.
Using the exact same language as Kamala Harris and other Democrats in this letter. Upon reading Ryan Routh's grotesque rationale for assassinating President Trump, I was struck by the eerie familiarity of his words, and for good reason. They were not his words alone. In a chillingly unoriginal fashion, parroted the very phrases uttered by President Biden. His missive to the world reflected Biden's precise language, adopted weeks, if not months, before he began stalking the former president, emboldened by what can only be interpreted as the president's inflammatory summons. I've long suspected that such reckless rhetoric from the commander-in-chief, amplified by his accomplices in the media, would eventually yield violence, and now we have proof that it has. And wait till you see what this guy had on him when he was arrested. But let's take a look at this Jesse Waters clip real quick.
The same language Biden's used. The FBI wouldn't release the Nashville trans school shooters manifesto because they said at the time they didn't want to inspire more violence. But they published this guy's manifesto? And why'd they only cherry pick the first page? What else is in these letters? Law enforcement tells us publishing Ruth's letter is basically giving the public a blueprint for the next assassination. And who the hell is this mysterious witness? Is he in custody? He sounds like a co-conspirator. And what kind of witness, you get a box from someone and you don't open it? Was he following instructions? And then he didn't give it to the feds until 3 days after the assassination attempt? And why is Ruth writing letters assuming he didn't finish the job? And does the FBI even have custody of this letter, or did they just take a screen grab from a mysterious witness and submit it to the court?
Lots of questions being raised there. Lots of questions. Democrats inspired Ryan Routh and Matthew Crooks to kill. Meanwhile, we have 5 known teams hunting President Trump before the Butler, PA attempt was Ukrainian. Customs and Border Protection had the wherewithal to question the second would-be assassin and put him on the radar, yet Homeland Security investigations took no action.
Show up, who, by the way, I don't want you to think there are only 5. There are 5 teams that were known by our government to have been hunting Trump pre-Butler. That may be a very different number today. Matter of fact, that number could have increased or shrunk, right? For all we know, by today, they've neutralized one of the teams or one of the individuals involved in these efforts. But to hear that one of them is Ukrainian, and then you see this guy show up, who, by the way, was on the radar of Homeland Security investigations, because when he enters the country, the very smart and astute folks at Customs and Border Patrol, think about that. Your Customs and Border Patrol, your agency has been totally overrun. You're exhausted. And yet they have the wherewithal to say, this doesn't make sense. This guy's been all over the world. And now he's saying he's a freedom fighter, recruiting people. And when we ask him a reasonable question, who's funding your efforts to recruit people from Taiwan and Afghanistan to go fight in Ukraine?
Iran.
Who's funding that? And the answer is, oh, my wife's paying for it. That story didn't exactly check out. You and I both have very successful wives that we're very proud of, but I don't think they'd pay for a hobby quite like this. And so when that goes to HSI, no activity, no action, no review. And now it emerges that one of the teams we knew about hunting Trump had a Ukraine connection.
A Ukraine connection. Sounds like a lot of that money going over to Ukraine is funding other missions. Let's keep digging. Keep digging into the truth. We're finding out now, NBC is now reporting Trump is going to be returning to Butler on October 5th, 1 month before the election. Talk about bold. God bless him and God protect him. Former President Trump scheduled to return to Butler, Pennsylvania for a rally on October 5th, the site of an attempted attack on his life. I wonder if it's going to be in the exact same location. Could you imagine if he goes back there? Wow. The defiance. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Trump assassin, Ryan Routh, had 6 cell phones that suggest he was likely working directly with a 3-letter agency to kill the president. His plan was perfectly coordinated to escape to Mexico in an unmarked car, and he almost got away with it. Where it gets super strange, though, is the letter his supposed friend received over a month beforehand. He claims the package was dropped off, but he only opened it after Ryan was arrested. Who doesn't open a mysterious package? Looks to me like a plant. If he fails, have someone pretend they received a letter to deflect from who is really behind this. An $150,000 bounty to kill the president? That makes no sense. Then repeating media lies word for word, implying other failed attempts. Only an idiot would believe the story they're trying to sell us right now. And we're also learning that Ryan Routh's son had some troubling videos or images on his personal computer that involved minors in acts that we cannot even utter here. Similar to what happened with the Las Vegas incident years ago. The brother of that shooter also had visual and photographic, imagery of the same nature. We're also learning now that Ryan Routh has been denied bail.
One county to the north. Kim, thank you. And the new body cam video shows the moment deputies surrounding the suspect on I-95 and put him into custody. This as a suspect went before judge today.
NBC6's Steve Litz continues our live team coverage with more details on this arrest. Steve?
Hi, Juwan. Hi, Jackie. And authorities are still at this golf course collecting evidence, making sure they're not leaving anything behind. In that initial court filing, there are details there relative to the defendant's cell phone and its location pinned to this area for hours, a possible indication that the suspect, was waiting for former President Trump. Deputies arrested Ryan Routh, one county to the north of here in Martin County. And here now is the video of the moment that he was taken into custody.
Take 2 steps to your right! Driver! Walk straight back!
It's the body camera video worn by a deputy who helped arrest Ryan Routh.
Keep walking! I keep that low.
Martin County Sheriff William Snyder.
I saw him in the car. His facial affect was very bland. He was not emoting any emotions at all.
Investigators say Routh hid behind a tree line at the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach yesterday and then pointed the barrel of a rifle through a fence. A Secret Service agent monitoring the golf holes in advance of former President Trump saw the gun and fired at it, not hitting Routh.
The rabbit hole goes even deeper, my friends. A witness has come forward what was found in the vehicle: 2 additional license plates, 6 cell phones, one of which had a Google search on how to travel to from Palm Beach County to Mexico, 12 pairs of gloves, documents, and a handwritten list of dates that Trump would visit. A witness came forward and stated that Routh dropped off a box at his house, ammunition, metal pipe, various building materials, 4 phones, various letters, which included the letter he wrote in the event that he failed the assassination attempt. So who was this witness?
Travel from Palm Beach gives us an insight into what happened during the day of that attempted assassination. Now, while police searched Ruth's getaway car, they found 2 additional license plates as well as 6 cell phones. One of those cell phones had a Google search of how to travel from Palm Beach County to Mexico. The agents also found 12 pairs of gloves and documents, including a handwritten list of dates in August through October 2024, with venues where the former president was and could be. Now, additional new details come from a witness. They said Ruth dropped off a box at his house a couple months ago with ammunition, a metal pipe, miscellaneous building materials, 4 phones, and various letters. Now, one of those letters, addressed Dear World, discussed the failed assassination attempt, even going as far as offering money to finish the job. Prosecutors will most likely argue this letter proves his intent. Now, today, Ruth is facing 2 gun charges that carry a combined maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. The new court documents today say the rifle was loaded with a total of 11 rounds and had even a round in the chamber. There was fingerprint evidence on the rifle linking Ruth. Now, these are some of those, not the most severe charges that they have right now, but they are enough to keep him locked up for now. Ruth's attorney will be able to request bond, but the judge will most certainly likely keep him in jail until a trial starts or more severe charges are brought in the future. Again, he was in court at 11 a.m. It's an hour.
It's going to be interesting to see if this guy actually makes it to court. Getting Lee Harvey Oswald vibes here to hide the fact of the people that perhaps ordered him to do this. John Creeman's USA, the DOJ releases Florida wannabe assassin letter. Why would they do this? The Ryan Routh letter offers a $150,000 bounty to whoever successfully assassinates Trump. Are you kidding me? What purpose does it serve the FBI? They wouldn't release the Nashville shooter's manifesto due to public safety concerns. But when it comes to Trump, the sky is the limit. There has to be an agenda in play, and it's dangerously deadly. The DOJ just put a bounty out on President Trump's head by releasing this. It is outrageous. If this was intentional, Garland and Wray are out of control. Marjorie Taylor Greene also posting this. The DOJ releasing the letter written by Ryan Routh, offering $150,000 to anyone who could finish the job on President Trump. She says the DOJ, which is trying to put Trump in prison, is now offering a bounty on Trump's head by releasing this. Why else would they release this? Here's another post. DOJ releases letter from would-be President Trump assassin. In it, Ruth confirms that this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you, he says. It's now up to you to finish the job, his words. And apparently he has $150,000 ready for whoever can complete the job. This is all now public record. Offering a $150,000 bounty. The DOJ releases the letter. Why would they publicly release such a thing? Bill Barr even coming out and blasting the DOJ for releasing the letter, alleging the would-be Trump assassin is dumbfounded. Let's take a look deeper into this New York Post piece. Former U.S. Attorney General William Barr panned the Justice Department. He once ran for publicly disclosing a chilling letter from the man who allegedly attempted to assassinate former President Trump. In court filing, Monday, prosecutors released a disturbing note they claim was authored by Ryan Wesley Routh, 58, as proof of his intent. Barr told Fox News, "I was dumbfounded that DOJ made public this morning the contents of the letter that Routh left with an acquaintance prior to the attempted assassination." Even Barr dumbfounded. An interesting post as well. Thinking caps on. This is claiming that Routh wrote a letter before the non-assassination attempt stating his attempt failed. Pre-failure? Isn't that interesting? Pre-failure. Ryan Routh letter made public, but not Audrey Hale's writings. We don't have the Las Vegas shooter's writings either, but that letter was okay to release. Madeline says the evidence is now overwhelming that Biden and his AG Garland are complicit in any further attempts on Trump's life, releasing the letter promising the bounty to anyone who succeeds is an egregious and unforgivable breach of legal ethics. Sorry I failed you. Failed who? World? Or his contractors? If the letter was dropped off in a box a month ago, how did he know he was going to fail? Or were there two letters and an accomplice had to pick the appropriate one to disclose? Here's more. Let's see what Jack Posobiec had to say on this.
Under seal, no. The DOJ wanted that information out. That's very clear. They didn't have to put that out. They didn't have to say that. They could have done this under seal. No. They did it public, in full view. All right. And people can talk about all the other manifestos and all the other writings that they've kept private. They know how to do that. They could have redacted that entire page, but they didn't. They put out in public, in full view, after all the things that they've redacted over all the years. So listen to this. FBI agents located an SKS semi-automatic 7.62 by 39 caliber rifle with a scope attached and extended magazine. The rifle was loaded with a total of 11 rounds and had 1 round in the chamber. This guy was condition 1. He was ready to take the kill shot the minute Trump walked across his field of view. The minute Trump walked across on the 6th hole, on the 6th green, Trump International, West Palm Beach, Ryan Wesley Routh was planning to take the shot to end his life right there on his own golf course. Condition 1, ready to fire. We talk about the plates. We already covered that. So we knew that last week. Human Events Daily was one of the first places that told you that the backpack and shopping bag both contain plates. The plates, and again, as we told you all last week on the show, folks, all last week, nobody else was talking about this. Here you go, DOJ. Subsequent preliminary ballistics testing showed the plates were capable of stopping small arms fire. So they tested the plates, they tested up, and it is possible. We don't know, we do not yet know for sure, but it is possible that these plates are the reason that the Secret Service agent, when he engaged Routh, was not able to get a shot on him. It's possible because these plates may have actually worked. And you can see they're tied up on the fence. This guy didn't have a high level of training, but he had some level of training. We're seeing some of those tactics, techniques, and procedures that he would have learned when he was over in Ukraine, that he would have learned through the foreign fighters there. Now we're told again, and I've reported this again and again, that I have no information that he actually carried a gun in combat. However, he was actually in the combat zone, unlike Tim Walz. And so that individual, Ryan Wesley Routh, it's possible and we have some reporting on this through human events sources, that he received training on an AKM, which is a Kalashnikov platform very similar to the SKS. Basically, I've trained with Polish SKS, I've shot a Chinese SKS, I've shot a Russian AK-47, all the different AKMs and PKMs, which are different. But, the Kalashnikov series, ask any shooter out there that once you've fired a few of those, you get a really good sense for them. They all operate generally quite similar. There's certainly some different settings, and obviously this one was modified for extended range, but there's also different modifications you can make for fully auto, something you switch the clip to the middle, that type of thing. So there's different things you can do, but any training is basically interchangeable. The deal.
That's interesting because you see the plates there in those bags. I was wondering why they were attached to the fence, but it makes sense now because he was actually using them as cover. I thought he was just putting them up there to hold something, or maybe keep his gear nearby. But if they're completely full of plates, he was clearly protecting himself from any return fire. Ryan Routh's confession letter shows Democrats have stirred up violence against Trump. New York Post. The FBI has suspiciously released a letter written by him, who attempted to assassinate Trump. Let's take a look at Rising. This is
assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
In a Florida courtroom this morning, the government has submitted a handwritten note allegedly written by Ryan Ruth, the man accused of trying to assassinate Donald Trump at his golf club in Florida last weekend.
The letter was addressed to the world and stated, quote, "This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you. I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster. It is up to you now to finish the job. And I will offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job."
Prosecutors say that Ruth put that letter inside a box and dropped it off with an unnamed witness months ago, far before he was caught on Trump's golf course in Florida. This letter is one of the reasons that prosecutors are saying that Ruth should continue to be detained. So this part is going to boggle everybody. So this letter was not written subsequent to the assassination attempt, because the tone of the letter is, "I have failed to assassinate Trump," but this was given to someone else some months ago, according to reporting from the Washington Post and others. And so this person just came forward and gave the letter. Now, it was in a box, so it's unclear whether this witness knew they had what was a credible threat of, I mean, the letter suggests he had already tried this and failed. So maybe there was some other thwarted assassination attempt we don't know about.
We don't know. We do not know. Lots of questions are still happening here. Let's see what
airs the letter. Okay. I don't understand it. All I know is that he took a box with letters in it to a female. All right. The female says she first thought about opening the box when she heard that Ryan Ruth had attempted to assassinate the president. Now, I also understand that there are other letters in the box. This initial letter is apparently apologizing for not actually killing his intended victim. So my question is, are there other letters that indicate that if he did accomplish the goal that he set out to do, do they do something else? I want to know about all the other letters. I want to know what the relationship is. And you did great on your show, Jesse, and you should talk about all of the inconsistencies. This guy doesn't have money to pay child support, so they let him off of child support. He doesn't have the money to get an attorney, so we give him, of course, a taxpayer-funded attorney. But the thing that absolutely infuriates me is the fact that the Department of Justice made a decision to publish this letter, which is so incendiary. And I said last week, the left won't be happy until they put a bounty on Donald Trump's head. And they just did by publishing that letter, saying $150,000, I'll give you $150,000 if you assassinate the president. This is, talk about unhinged. This is a reason for someone who's unhinged to actually act on it. It's an outrage. And when they publish this, it's un-American by the Department of Justice. This is the Biden-Harris Department of Justice leaking this information to the public, and I think it's disgusting. Now, where did this guy get $800,000 to live in a bungalow in Hawaii? Where does he get the money to go to Thailand, Ukraine, and all the other countries that he goes to? And the Justice Department says, look, the reason we let it out is to establish intent. That's nonsense. Take it from one who knows what she's talking about. You can establish intent without publishing this, and you can do it at the time of the trial, or you can do it at the time of motion to dismiss the case. But this man is, this letter is not only a call to arms, it is telling people, I'll reimburse you if you kill him.
Wow.
Jessica.
Judge Jeanine Pirro on fire there. Real America's Voice. I have no trust in what they do. Tara Dahl wants to know why the DOJ would release this letter.
There's head. He's so crucial. Tara, with your security background, why would the DOJ release this?
And that's the question. And that's the question that Don Jr. raised today, too. You're putting a bounty on my father's head, he said. And that's the question, too, as far as the first assassination attempt and how they FBI, DOJ, they're completely stonewalling Congress. They're not providing any information. But all of a sudden, they decide to release this letter. It raises some serious questions. Just like you said, Michelle, where is he getting the money? How did he pay for the flights? Who's providing all of the stuff with the car, the guns, everything that he had? There's a lot of questions to be answered right now.
Yeah, Tara, is there any reason
legally or so on and so forth that they would do something like this? Is there precedence for something like this? I know this is kind of your wheelhouse. I want to make sure, before we move on, we address that.
When you look at this DOJ and the weaponization of it, there is nothing that gives precedence to anything that they do. They pick and choose what they want to do. They don't provide the answers to Congress. They stonewall Congress, but yet they release information that they want to release for their own purposes. So someone like me, I've been through the whole weaponization. I've seen it firsthand. I have no trust in what they do and why they do it, if it's for the benefit of the American people, and certainly not for the benefit of this case or to provide any actual information on what happened with this assassination attempt against the president.
Lots of media reaction in the fallout of this. Here is, I can't believe how much there's out there.
As now Ryan Rao.
This is News Nation.
The suspect in the second assassination attempt against former President Trump has now released a letter talking about what he was doing that day. This is a written note submitted as part of the government filing today. Routh says, quote, "Dear world, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I am so sorry I failed you," adding that he believes Trump is unfit to be anything, much less a president. He is expected in court within the next couple of hours for a pre-trial detention hearing.
Okay, so, folks, the bottom line is, the letter's been released. Who funded this guy? And he's being hunted. Trump is being hunted.
To me.
And Routh could have been one of those hit teams. Let's listen to Dan Bongino's warning.
Listen to me. Trump is being hunted by professionals who know exactly what they're doing. And because I hate teases, is the Secret Service compromised? Now, I know you say, well, Dan, you brought that up last week. Is there a mole, whether intentional or unintentional, in the Secret Service? I'll talk about that. But someone, let's just say who can be trusted, I spoke to last week at the end of the week, has informed me that their communication system for the Secret Service may be almost entirely compromised. In other words, people trying to hunt and kill Donald Trump may know more about what Donald Trump is doing than Donald Trump is doing. Folks, we got a serious problem. And the problem is the people in charge of the Secret Service right now are not serious people. The people at the top are too busy trying to cover up their own role in the substandard security plan for President Trump. Nothing is going to change. We are in real trouble. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm not trying to panic anyone. I'm trying to tell you this isn't over. You thought it was over after the first one? We had the second one. You thought it was over after the second one? Folks, there's more. He is being hunted right now. Listen to me.
Being hunted. That's what's happening right now. Donald Trump. But it goes back to the rhetoric. It goes right back to the rhetoric that was so perfectly played in this mashup with the Joker. And all the rhetoric, the violent rhetoric that was presented by all these Democrats. Oh, man. I don't even know, man. We just need to pray for this country. Well, I don't know what, these people are so evil. There's just a darkness over this country, and only God can lift it. And these people are straight up just demon-filled entities who are doing everything that they can to stir up lunatics all over this country. 5 assassination hit teams from all over the world coming in. Lunatics coming out of the woodwork. Secret Service failures. It's because Donald Trump knows how to fix his country. He knows how to drain the swamp. And he's going to fix everything. He's going to dry up that gravy train in Ukraine for the military-industrial complex. Of course, the deep state can't have that. They need that money flowing. We're learning Millions upon millions of more dollars are being sent to Ukraine. Where does that money go? There's no accountability for it. Does it just go into more of Joe Biden's LLCs that are scattered across Europe and make their way back to the United States? How does it work? These are questions we need answers to. Whatever happened to that Biden impeachment, by the way? Yeah. Well done, GOP. You guys are failures all around. You are all accomplices in the destruction of this country. All the rhinos, every one of you. You might as well just paint a D on your head because you're all Democrats. Doesn't matter. You're all establishment, deep state, swamp creatures. Now, this letter, my friends, is not just a threat. It's a wake-up call. $150,000 bounty on a former president's head, released by the very department sworn to uphold justice. Is it incompetence, or is it something far more sinister? The lines between justice and political vendetta are starting to blur, and we are left to wonder, who is really pulling the strings? America, we are at a crossroads. So I ask you, what does this mean for the future of our republic? Sound off in the comments below. All right, now let's get to you guys. Chat, what's up? What are you guys saying? Mia says, God watch over President Trump. Dude Bro says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Yes, we are in the end times. I believe that. Shelley says, bless our Donald Trump in prayer. Tom K says, I'm off ScrewTube. Glad that Gary's on Rumble. Yes, we are. Follow us there if you're not. Make sure you do. Was that a Rumble rant, Brian? Must have been. Thank you for that. Let's see. Trump's guardian angel must be hearing bells. You know, I saw a really great. Thank you, Heather, for the prayers for me. Yeah, I need prayers for sure. I saw a photograph that was published, and it showed three massive angels. Three massive angels. And little tiny Donald Trump, like, walking behind them. I should have saved it. I wanted to. But the caption was, Trump's real Secret Service. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Okay. Got a lot to get to tonight. A lot to get to. Oh, man. Okay. Enough of that. All right. Sorry, I get caught up in some of this stuff because it's like, I can't even believe we're here. I've been doing this for 20 years, probably longer than that. And 2 assassination attempts. I never thought I'd be reporting on that stuff. Never thought so. Okay. Let's get to the next topic. Okay. Folks, the swamp isn't just boiling over, it's bubbling over. In a move that reeks of desperation, over 700 former intelligence and national security officials have thrown their weight behind Kamala Harris. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds impressive, but let me ask you this. When was the last time these career bureaucrats had your best interests at heart? This is not just an endorsement, it's a battle cry from the deep state, and we are pulling back the curtain. Now, listen up. While we're exposing the deep state's machinations, let's talk about protecting yourself on the roads. Did you know that drivers with dash cams are 60% less likely to be found at fault in accidents? That's right. This simple device could save you from legal nightmares and insurance battles. The Car Vision X dash cam offers 4K Ultra HD night vision, 24/7 motion detection. It's not just a camera, it's your professional personal road guardian. Visit carvisionx.com now for free express shipping and exclusive bonuses. Don't wait until it's too late. Secure your drive today with Car Vision X. Big story hitting the wires now. 740 former intelligence, national security, and defense officials sign a letter endorsing Kamala Harris for president. Almost as bad as having the IRS endorse you. John Basham translates the headline saying, Uniparty, Intel, and military-industrial complex are terrified that real Donald Trump will destroy them and their tyrannical power and return control to the people. That's really what's happening. I actually responded. I said, John, you hit the nail on the head. When you see 740 plus former intelligence and defense officials rallying behind Kamala Harris, you know the swamp is quaking in their boots. These are not patriots. They're the same career bureaucrats desperate to cling to power. They know Trump is coming back to actually drain the swamp. And this time, they'll do anything. They know Trump is coming back to actually drain the swamp this time, and they'll do anything to stop him. This is not an endorsement. It's a Hail Mary from the Uniparty's deep state elite, terrified that their cozy little empire will crumble the second people take back control. That's what this is about. Sean Hawkins making note of a Fox News article. National security chiefs on letter backing Kamala Harris include many who signed the infamous Hunter Biden laptop document. The 9 former national security and military officials who signed a letter on Sunday endorsing Kamala Harris for president are the very same people who signed a letter 4 years ago claiming Hunter Biden's infamous laptop was fake and filled with Russian disinformation. Are you surprised? I'm certainly not surprised. Not at all. Got an interesting tweet here from Kimberly Guilfoyle we're going to get to in a moment, but I want to get to some of these other points that are very important to make here. Raheem Kassam makes note, the entire deep state just endorsed Kamala Harris. Former defense secretaries and national security leaders rally for Harris. This is from the Military Times. Think about that. This is the Military Times publication.
And released more than 740 former national security leaders and defense secretaries are rallying in support of Vice President Kamala Harris as she campaigns for the presidency. A bipartisan letter signed by them and released Sunday emphasizes her experience and capabilities in handling national security issues, as well as her role in strengthening U.S. alliances and addressing global challenges. The group criticized Trump's incitement of supporters ahead of the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol and his past praise of foreign dictators as reasons to oppose his return to the White House. They also praised Harris's work as vice president and her commitment to work with foreign allies to strengthen U.S. military capabilities. They highlight her commitment to modernizing the military and supporting veterans, framing her as a candidate who can effectively navigate complex geopolitical landscapes.
That's the biggest joke I've ever heard of. She can't even navigate an Oprah program. Ha! This is coming from the Military Times, of course, just another rag for the military-industrial complex. National security leaders for America. So proud to announce that their endorsement was covered by CNN. Yeah, that's nothing to brag about, my friends. Here's J.D. Vance talking with Tucker Carlson just a few days ago about the warmongers themselves. Yes, those individuals This is he said this before this letter came out, this endorsement letter, but it's all connected.
Washington is time in professional Washington, which I've spent a couple years there. You realize that one of the things that gives a lot of people meaning is like playing a chess game with the lives of other people's children, right? And of course, if you think like that, you're kind of a sicko and you shouldn't be anywhere near power. But Washington is full of people who really like to go out and play strategic games with the lives of other people's children. And there's probably nobody who better represents that, of course, than Liz and Dick Cheney, who their entire politics for the past 30 years has been using American power to inflame tensions in the world, to draw the United States deeper and deeper into foreign conflicts, which either shouldn't exist at all, or certainly the United States shouldn't have any business in. I'm in professional Washington.
I think it's interesting is that you got 740 people all signing this letter. They've all just identified themselves as deep state operatives for the military-industrial complex. Pure members of the establishment. So we do thank you for that. If there's anything positive out of this letter, it's that. Since people are asking if it's true, Simon Ateba getting a little heat for posting this news. Here's the official statement from the NSL4A.org. Who makes a domain like that? That's the most ridiculous. Who's ever going to... Hey, what group are you with? Well, just go to my website, NSLA4A. Yeah. No. There was no marketing consideration for that. Should we even try? Okay, fine. We'll go there. NSL4A endorses Kamala Harris for president. To the American people, we are former public servants who swore an oath to the Constitution. Many of us risked our lives for it. We retired generals, admirals, senior non-commissioned officers, ambassadors, senior civilian national security leaders. We're Republicans, Democrats, and independents, and loyal to the ideals of our nation. How can these people... Mr. Trump has proven he's not up for the job. Kamala Harris would make an excellent commander-in-chief. As leaders, we know effective leadership requires in-depth knowledge, careful deliberation, understanding of our adversaries, and empathy for those you lead. Vice President Harris has proven she's an effective leader? How? Can you point? What, the border? Oh, all right, an effective leader for the globalists who want the open borders. Her relentless diplomacy with allies around the globe preserved a united front in support of Ukraine's fight. She grasped the reality of American military deterrence. My goodness, this is the biggest joke. The contrast with Mr. Trump is clear. Where Vice President Harris is prepared and strategic, he is impulsive and ill-informed. He preys on adversarial dictators like China's Xi Jinping. Really? Hasn't Biden done the exact same thing? Oh, no, actually, Biden was taking money from the communists. And North Korea's Kim Jong-un and Russia's Vladimir Putin. Well, let's take a page out of Ron Paul's legacy, can we, for a moment? Isn't it better to have relationships and trade with our adversaries rather than war and hatred? Should we really get involved in foreign entanglements? No, we shouldn't. We should listen to the founders, and we should listen to Ron Paul. So when Donald Trump makes a comment about Putin or Kim Jong-un or Xi Jinping, what is he doing? Keeping his enemies closer. It's 4D chess. But the establishment, these deep state operatives who all signed this letter, they're the ones who are terrified because of the grip on power they will lose when Donald Trump steps into that Oval Office. Because he's the commander-in-chief. But mark my words, these are the same people who are going to try to undermine him every step of the way. Probably sending letters to. I'm not even going to say. Okay, so we've got a list. Here's a list of the 4-star generals. Holy cow. List of 4-star generals and admirals named in the official statement. General Peter Shirelli, General Wesley Clark, General Larry Ellis, Richard Davis Harney, General Michael V. Hayden. That does not surprise me one bit. Tweety Bird. Yeah. He was what, head of the NSA, CIA. General Lloyd Newton, General Johnny Wilson, General Chuck Wald, Admiral Samuel Locklear, Admiral Bobby Inman, Admiral James Loy, Admiral Michael Franklin, General Lester Lyles, Admiral William Fallen, and Admiral Steve. And of course, Kamala is going to run with this like she ran with the IRS endorsement. It's really disgusting. And it's predictable. As I stated on X, when the deep state elite start throwing their weight behind Kamala Harris, you know something's up. Scary authoritarian streak, they say? Right, because nothing screams freedom like a letter signed by 741 career bureaucrats and generals who spent their lives preserving their power, not yours. These are the same folks who've led us into endless wars and trampled on our rights, and now they're calling Kamala Harris the realistic candidate. Please. What they really mean is that she will toe the line, keep the gravy train rolling, and make sure the swamp stays nice and murky. Trump is the one they fear because he's the one they can't control. And that's the real reason for all of the pearl clutching. 741 deep state operatives. All happening now. So, ladies and gentlemen, 741 former officials backing Harris is not just a number, it's a warning. These aren't public servants. They're the architects of endless wars and failed foreign policies. They fear a return to the America First policies because it threatens their globalist agenda. But here is the million-dollar question. Can the American people see through this desperate ploy, or will the deep state succeed in pulling the wool over our eyes once again? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And now let's jump into the chat room and see what your comments are. Let's see. Sorry, I just got a message here. Okay. Okay, Travis says he's loving this program. More and more every day. At least here I know I'm getting the facts. Thank you. Greatest awakening ever on the horizon, says Seeking Truth. Cobra Commander says, I would never vote a woman to lead anything in government. Do not care about their politics. Curtin Vicky says, we all need to pray for our country and all of those, including Gary, thank you, who are keeping us up to date on what is really taking place around us. Get out and vote, and may God help us all. I'll tell you, friends, I have my moments. I have my moments. I really do. Trying to make sense of all this. It's not easy. Doing this for 20 years. It just seems to be getting worse and worse. Seeking Truth says, share this. Thank you. Everyone, please share this now. Let's get this stream over 1,000 viewers, can we? Right now, it looks like we've only got about 700 people watching on YouTube, which is fine. That's great. I love every one of you, but imagine if every one of you took out your phone and text this stream link to a friend. You could double that number in 10 seconds. Pamela Drake says they are scared, running scared. And why they're doing all this BS, they're trying to keep us occupied, why they're scheming something else up. Robert Morris says the generals are disgraceful and weak. Heather notes that we have 744 likes so far. Is that right? Only 744? Let's see. Peak concurrent views. We hit 958. Robert Morris says, I got to get out of Illinois. Well, not just yet, my friends. Not just yet. So see where we're at in this. So we got that. We got that. There we go. Well, this is the wild story here. My goodness. Okay, we're going to open up with a couple news clips and give you some of the latest updates coming out of New York. Shoosh. Sorry, I'm getting bombarded with messages here. I got a project that's been in the works for like 2 years now and waiting for this thing to finally grow some legs, and looks like it may have grown some legs. News at 11. All right, let's get into this here. I can't talk right now, man. I'm streaming. Hey, I can't talk right now. I'm streaming live. Oh, okay, bye-bye. Okay. That person wasn't watching the stream. Shame on them. Chad? Yeah. Love you. Okay. Okay, where are we at here? Let's get this, close it out. Okay. Okay, hang on. Let me just get a hold of myself for a second. Okay. All right. Just all these. Okay, thank you. All right. Wow. Okay. If you really want to know, you can go check out my Clock Shifter YouTube channel. You'll find out what I'm talking about here. Hang on, I need to see this. I just need to see this. Sorry, I need to see this. Come on, turn over, baby. Turn over. Almost there. Come on, baby. Oh man.
Sounds good too.
Oh man. Wow.
Sounds damn good.
Damn. Wow. We just had to drop a new rebuilt LS into a 2006 chassis on a 1975 International step van. You go to my Clock Shifter channel, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. Apparently no one cares because they're leaving the stream. All right. Remember those long, dark days of lockdowns while you were trapped at home, masked up and socially distanced? Well, it turns out that the New York City COVID czar was living it up. That's right. Dr. Jay Varma, the man behind the Big Apple's draconian pandemic policies, has been caught on camera bragging about attending drug-fueled sex parties. But it gets worse. This is not just hypocrisy. It's a betrayal of public trust that will make your blood boil. Now, speaking of shocking revelations, have you heard about Chuck Norris lately? At 84, he's not just surviving, he is thriving. While Dr. Varma was partying, Chuck discovered a secret to turn back the clock. He's stronger, has more energy, and feels decades younger. And it's not just him. His wife is reaping the benefits too. What's their secret? Well, Chuck made a video explaining it all, and trust me, it's a game changer. Head to chuckdefense.com/next or click the link below to watch. You will not believe how simple it is to regain your youthful vigor. Don't miss out on this life-changing information. Now, let's get to some local New York City news.
Partings during COVID? Yeah. I think you'd have gotten like a hard time if like the New York City found out that you're having sex partings during COVID?
Yeah, it would have been a big deal. Yeah, it would have been real embarrassing.
Yeah.
In a scathing video released by conservative podcaster Steven Crowder, Dr. Jay Varma, New York City's former COVID czar, boasts about throwing sex parties during the height of the pandemic. The clips posted to Crowder's YouTube channel seem to have been compiled from several different recordings where Varma is caught on camera speaking to a woman about hosting drug-fueled orgies with his wife and attending underground dance parties with more than 200 people.
It was fun. We all took Molly.
In a statement released to the New York Times, Varma said he was targeted by an operative for an extremist right-wing organization determined to malign public health officials and take down the public health system in America. He added, "I stand by my efforts to get New Yorkers vaccinated against COVID-19.
I think you'd have gotten
Oh, sure. I was targeted by an operative for an extremist right-wing organization. Yeah. That's always what it is. It's a vast right-wing conspiracy. Was it a conspiracy when you called all your friends, Dr. Varma, and went to that hotel quietly and had a drug-fueled sex orgy? Was it? Was that a conspiracy? Oh, no, you were just blowing off steam. Oh, man, God bless Steven Crowder for this. Here's more. This is from CBS News New York. So these are official news channels. I just want to make that clear for the YouTube minders who are going to review this video that we're providing context to this breaking news that affects every one of you.
Not as he was the city's top doctor during the pandemic, helping to set guidelines for policies like wearing masks in big gatherings.
But now a city councilman is calling for an investigation into Dr. Jay Varma after he admitted to ignoring the very rules that he was asking New Yorkers to follow. His admission follows the surfacing of a heavily edited video. Political reporter Marcia Kramer is here now with more. Marcia.
Well, Christine and Dick, it looks like a case of do as I say, not as I don't. Dr. Jay Varma is admitting that at the height of the pandemic, he attended sex parties and a dance party, even as he told New Yorkers to stay away from others to stop the spread of COVID-19. Now, Councilman Robert Holden wants his actions investigated. He was the high priest of social distancing, even wearing a mask at City Hall press conferences as he ordered New Yorkers to stay away from others to limit the spread of COVID-19.
This virus mutates when it's inside humans. So we need to keep it out of humans. And again, so it circles back to the same thing. Really being very strict about all the precautions that we normally follow.
While he wanted New Yorkers to be strict about social distancing, he is admitting tonight that he wasn't. The mea culpa coming after he was caught on hidden video posted by conservative podcaster Steven Crowder. A spokesman for Dr. Varma told CBS News New York that his client participated in a dance party underneath the Wall Street Bank in June 2021 with about 200 people. It was after he left full-time city service and was a consultant. The spokesman said there were also 2 sex parties while he held the city post. There were hotel parties he and his wife held with friends, one in August 2020, the other November 2020. In a statement, Dr. Varma insisted he was, quote, targeted by an operative or an extremist right-wing organization determined to malign public health officials. And those private conversations that were secretly recorded, spliced, diced, and taken out of context, I referred to events that transpired 4 years ago. I served in City Hall between April 2020 and May 2021. During that time, I participated in 2 private gatherings. I take responsibility for not using using the best judgment at the time. In the video, Varma also bragged about helping to put in place mandatory vaccination rules that prevented Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving from playing basketball after he refused to get the shot. I stand by my efforts to get New Yorkers vaccinated against COVID-19, Dr. Varma said, and I reject dangerous extremist efforts to undermine the public's confidence in the need for and effectiveness of vaccines.
The guy has no shame. It is disgusting.
Councilman Robert Holden is calling for state and federal prosecutors to get involved.
This is a very serious thing that's going on and that was going on. And that's why, what else did he do? What else did he say? What else should we have done?
Now, Councilman Holden also wants a full-scale city council investigation where Dr. Varma is called to testify.
Let's go. Let's go. Bring him before the tribunal. Here is Vicky Palladino talking about, so they held a press conference in front of City Hall. We got some of the clips from that. We are now finding that he has been terminated from his job at SIGA Technologies. Now it's time to terminate his medical license. That's my opinion. Today, we stood in front of City Hall to call for consequences and accountability for an era of tyranny we must never return to.
Most of them were forced to vaccinate. And the majority of them, a lot of them, had medical consequences from having to vaccinate. People couldn't attend burials of their own parents. All while one sicko, yes, I said it, one sicko was partying. At the same time, he was mandating this on all New Yorkers.
Oh, he wasn't just partying. He was in close physical sexual contact with other individuals. While you could not even go to a funeral. This is a disgrace. An absolute disgrace. One of the members of Crowder's team was there. The hashtag now is Varmagate, if you want to look deeper.
News organization? Yeah. You know what? It doesn't matter what our politics are. We have Democrats behind me. We have Republicans behind me. And we have Jay Varma on tape. And guess what? Nobody asked him if he was a Republican or a Democrat or how he voted before. What we asked is, why were the policies put in place? What did you think about what you were doing? This man is not just a hypocrite. We're all hypocritical to some degree. This man never believed in the mandates to begin with, and yet you have to hear these stories because of what he did, knowing full well that he didn't believe it. You know how I know? He went to sex parties. He went to dance parties. He didn't fly with his family because of optics, not because it was actually dangerous.
Steven Crowder's team really blew this wide open, thank God. Here is this is his own words. If you don't believe me, here's his own words. And the video is on Steven Crowder's YouTube channel. You need to go check that out in full. Steven Crowder actually confronted the guy a couple of days ago. They published that video. And this guy Varma actually sat there while Steven questioned him. But let's take a look at his own words. This story did break 5 days ago, but it needs to be front and center in every American's mind because this was New York City. What about other cities? What about Chicago? What about San Francisco, Los Angeles? Miami, what other cities were similar types of things happening? And what else was this guy doing? See, this is all we know that was caught on tape, that he was bragging about to a date that he is on. About, his deviancy and his promiscuity.
I actually was the one who convinced the mayor to make it a mandate.
Like, New York City found out that you were having sex parties during COVID?
Yeah, it would have been a big deal. Yeah, it would have been real bad. We went to some, underground, dance party, underneath a bank in Wall Street. And we were all rolling, we were all taking Molly, and everybody's high. And I was so happy, because I hadn't done that in, a year and a half, a year or whatever. And but I was looking around being like, I wonder if he sees me, they're gonna because this was not
Wait,
COVID
when
friendly. The only way I could do this job for the city was if I had some way to blow off steam every now and then. You know, kind of sneaky about it because hotels didn't want people gathering there. Because I was like running the entire COVID response for the city. My wife and I like had one with our friends, like in August of like that first summer. So we rented a hotel. It was fun. We all like took like Molly and just like it was like 8 or 9 of us in a 10 or 8 to 10 of us in a room, and everybody had a blast because everybody was like so pent up because it had been like everybody was just like stuck together and stuff like that. And sometimes it isn't so much about like bigotry, executive. Some it's just something about like bodies being close to each other, right? Just being like naked with friends.
Was that like when everybody was walking out?
But it was like the summer of 2020. So like walk around the streets and eat outdoors.
Did you have like any mandates in place?
There wasn't any restrictions on gathering, like you could technically gather people. The hotels didn't want us to have parties, but they weren't gonna like.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's like because I did all this like deviant like sexual stuff while I was like like on TV and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And people are like, aren't you afraid? Aren't you embarrassed? And I was like, no, actually, I'm like really like I love being my authentic self. So the way we do it in public health is we make it very uncomfortable to be unvaccinated. I don't expect the education to change your behavior. I'm just gonna make it really hard for you to do your job. You can't get a job. You can't go to a restaurant. You can't go to school. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna get vaccinated.
So was it technically like kind of forcing you?
Yeah, that's what you force people by making it really uncomfortable.
That was awesome. Unbelievable work right there by Stephen Crowder.
I think.
Yes, and we're learning, yes, he has been fired from his job for having pandemic sex parties. Now, people are bringing up, like, what Nancy Pelosi did. She went to a hairdresser. Newsom went to French Laundry. I mean, Newsom went to French Laundry and had a big, glorious banquet while the people of California were locked down. Pelosi goes to a hairdresser. I mean, Mayor of Chicago doing the same thing, had to get her hair done so she could look good when she goes for those COVID press conferences. Meanwhile, all of us were locked down, social distancing, forced into mandates. People lost their jobs. Businesses were shut down. And the very people that were tasked with keeping us safe were too busy enjoying their own lives. But this guy took it to a whole new level. And I even made a nice little meme. Here he is. Lockdown orders for you. Wild drug-fueled sex parties for me. That's where we're at, folks. So, ladies and gentlemen, the New York City COVID scandal isn't just about one man's hypocrisy. It's about the erosion of trust in our institutions. While we were told to sacrifice for the greater good, those in power were living by a different set of rules. Now, the question is, how deep does this deception go? Are there more Dr. Varmas out there preaching restrictions while flouting them in private? America, it's time to wake up. What other lies have we been fed? Sound off below. Okay, let's get your reactions. Dude Bro says, I survived the toilet paper shortage of 2020. Donna says, well, they'll just put him somewhere else. Yeah, he'll probably get another job somewhere else, but I think this is really just the beginning. This is only the beginning because the real investigations are about to begin. This guy's going to get dragged before a court or a hearing, and he's going to be forced to answer questions under oath. Because remember, these are only things disclosed during a date. What else did he do? What else did he do? Let's see more reaction here. Blood and Soil says, never forgive, never forget. Nurses like me took big hits because we refuse to give or accept. Dr. Fauci lied the whole time, says Dude Bro. Donna says, no one will trust them ever again. Shiryu says, that guy is nasty, even by my standards. Leandra says, we need to pull together and pray like we have never prayed before. This is time to witness in any way you can. Let's see here. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's jump to our next topic now. This is interesting news. Let's see, where's our news clip on this? Okay, I'm ready. Buckle up, America, because the 2024 election is shaping up to be a political earthquake. Fresh polls are showing a seismic shift that has the Washington elite in panic mode. Donald Trump isn't just leading, he's dominating in key swing states. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is fumbling, unable to articulate a coherent plan for the country. But here's the kicker. The mainstream media doing everything in its power to bury these numbers. Why? Because they're terrified of what they mean. Now, folks, while we're talking about shaking things up, let me tell you about a revolution in pain relief. Clint Winters, a pioneering medical scientist, has unveiled I can never get this right. Canalidine. It's 100% drug-free way to get full body pain relief. It's not snake oil. It's backed by science and used by UFC fighters. Now, I was skeptical, but let me tell you, it works. My aches and pains are gone. And the best part, no side effects. Click the link below to watch Clint's report and access it for less than $1 a day. The link is trycano.com/NNN. Don't let pain hold you back any longer. Okay, now, CNN is now reporting some great news for Trump in swing states. Trump is now leading Harris by 5 points in Arizona, 4 points in Georgia, 3 points in North Carolina, significantly better than his 2020 performance. Let's watch CNN in panic mode.
What does it all mean? And there is one man with the answer to that question, CNN senior data reporter Harry Etten. So, Harry, as I said, honestly, when we hear there's new polling from Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, the viewers, they want to know what it means, what it says, and what you think about it. So what does it say, first of all?
Let's see if I can live up to the hype of this. All right. Look, you got a lot of red on the screen. This is pretty good news for Donald Trump. This is the Harris versus Trump margin, unrounded margin. Look at this. In Arizona, Donald Trump up 5. In Georgia, up 4, though no clear leader. North Carolina, a similar story. Donald Trump up 3. Again, no clear leader. But you take it all together, in these 3 key battleground states, 2 of which Joe Biden carried 4 years ago, we see that Donald Trump is ahead, and by an average of 4 points, significantly better than he did back in 2020 across all of these states.
I am old enough to remember last Tuesday?
Yeah, it might have been.
When there was New York Times, Siena battleground polling from Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan that was all blue.
Yes, there was that polling from Pennsylvania. We had that other polling that essentially showed that Kamala Harris was doing very well in the Great Lakes. And this, to me, seems to be the increasing divide amongst these swing states. These are the averages in the polls, right? Take a look in the Great Lakes. Harris up 2. Wisconsin, Harris up 2. Pennsylvania, Harris up 2. Again, close races, but blue, not red. You jump over here with me to the Sun Belt battleground. Says you see a little blue at the top in Nevada, +1. We don't have any new polling from there. But you look at North Carolina, Trump up by less than a point. Arizona in the average, Trump up by 2. Georgia, Trump up by 2 in the average. So in the Sun Belt battlegrounds, more red than blue, predominantly red. In the Great Lake battlegrounds, predominantly, in fact, all blue, and this is going to be the divide I'm going to be looking at going forward, which is, do we continue to see that Kamala Harris does better in these Great Lake battleground states than she does in these Sun Belt battleground states?
First of all, I have to say about Nevada, somewhere John Ralston is crying because we don't have new battleground polling from Nevada.
True, Shonda.
But that said, why is there an explanation why Donald Trump is doing better here than here?
Yeah, I think the big reason why is this, which is Trump's 2024 coalition is more diverse. All right, so this was among likely voters nationwide. Back in 2020, 81% of Donald Trump voters were white. Look at where we are today. It's just 77%. The non-white percentage jumps up from 16% to 20%. And if you know anything about those Sun Belt battleground states, is that they are more diverse than those Great Lake battleground states. In the Southwest, they're more Hispanic than they are nationwide. In the Southeast, in North Carolina and Georgia, they are more African American than they are nationwide, John. And I think the real question here is, what does this mean for the electoral map? Because that's what we're all interested in. And it is, look, folks, it's just as tight as it can possibly be, because if the polls are exactly right, yes, Kamala Harris carries these Great Lake battleground states, but of course, Donald Trump carries North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, and that leads to 276 electoral votes for Kamala Harris to 262 for Donald Trump. But that is only if the polls are exactly right. You saw back in slide 2 how close these states are. The bottom line is we're just going to continue to mention this over and over and over again. It is the closest race in a generation, one of which I honestly really don't know who's going to win, John.
Harriet.
Closest race. They love repeating that line. Makes the cheat even easier. Leading report 3 hours ago. Former President Trump leading Kamala Harris among Teamsters Union members in all 50 states. That's according to the union's internal polling. 5 hours ago, Rasmussen reports the state polling. Arizona is up. Georgia up. Minnesota, Montana up 23 points. Nevada up 2. Ohio up 7. Good news for Donald Trump. Oh, and this from Sean Farash. Reports are that all 2,100 plus Harris cookies were purchased and simultaneously eaten by Chris Christie. That is a relation to this here. An Ohio bakery known for accurately predicting presidential election results with its candidate-themed cookies just revealed that Trump is winning by a lot, outselling Kamala Harris by 16 freaking points. An Ohio bakery, of all places. And here's more. Election time, shock poll, Trump leads big per the New York Times. New York Times even reporting this. Trump is up 5 in Arizona, up 4 in Georgia, up 2 in North Carolina. New York Times even reporting the very same thing. But when it comes to policy, CNN's Dana Bash is complaining. That's what she does best. She says voters are unfairly demanding more policy details from Kamala Harris while Trump hasn't articulated his plans. Oh, yeah? What about Agenda 47? See, Dana Bash refuses to go to that website to investigate his very specific plan to make America great again. Ready for this?
Okay, so unveil it. So let's put all of these polls in context as to what has happened in the last week or two.
What has happened?
Obviously, was the debate a couple of weeks ago now, where Kamala Harris, by all accounts, did, clean Donald Trump's clock. And then if you look at some of the ancillary headlines that we have seen from Donald Trump and what he is putting out there, it's not exactly, policy focused, like at all. In fact, you could argue that they're not positive for him in the least if you are thinking about a traditional persuadable voter campaign trying to get people who aren't sure to come to his side. I mean, everything from falsely accusing, we know what happened with cats and dogs in Ohio, to Laura Loomer, to saying he hates Taylor Swift, and it goes on and on and on. And yet, David Chalian, you hear time and time again the question from focus groups, from undecided voters, but what about her policies? What is that about? Because he was president, but he hasn't really super articulated his economic policies for a second term, besides tax cuts.
He was asked this weekend about what his plan is to bring down costs, and it was sort of lacking any kind of specificity and transparent. I think what it is she's newer to the scene for voters. I mean, it's just she's a newer character playing on the main stage in American politics for voters, and so they are wanting to learn more about her. I don't even know that they necessarily are demanding specific policy proposals. But you said, yes, he's been president. I mean, I think that is part of it, though. He was president. Americans observed him as president for 4 years. I think they have fewer questions in their mind about what does a Trump presidency look like. And so that is why I think there are questions still for, as you decide, undecided, persuadable voters who are still yearning for a bit more on her.
Okay, so
Dana Bash saying that Kamala won that debate. Sure. But I think the voters have a right to demand clear policy from Kamala, not word salads as she delivers to a scripted interview with Oprah. So here is listen to this. This is a Kamala Harris surrogate just melting down when asked, what is Kamala's plan to lower prices? Listen to this exchange. This has gone viral.
What is Harris's plan? We're waiting.
Okay, there's a lot of aspects to it in regards to looking at it online. So let's talk about lowering the grocery costs, because that's something that's brought up. The viewers can look at this online. She talks about certain things in regards to advancing the first federal ban on price gouging on food and groceries, to set clear rules to the road to make it clear that big corporations can't unfairly exploit consumers as well.
Is that happening? Is that happening?
Is that happening?
It's not at this moment. No, this is her plan that's laid out for the first 100 days when she becomes president of the United States of America.
Is it happening? No. Okay, so if it's not happening, then why are you putting a policy in place if it's not happening? It's just to create headlines and talking points. Let's continue the clip.
Is that currently happening?
In regards to I don't know exactly if that's currently happening or not, because I'm not privy to that type of information. Okay. But there are people are costing a lot of money in regards to groceries.
Okay. It seems like you're having a hard time articulating her plan. And
honestly, that's not true. Please, I'm constantly being interrupted by you, which as a woman, I think is disrespectful. When I'm trying to speak, every time I try and speak, you speak over me.
Did you hear that? She said, I'm constantly being interrupted. And as a woman, I find that disrespectful. And she's being interviewed by a woman. She's pulling the patriarchy talking points out.
When I'm trying to speak, every time I try and speak, you speak over me.
Okay. Final thought.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. I was giving you time there. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you joining.
Yeah, you got cut out there. There you go. There you go. So good news is Trump is up. Trump is up. Trump is up. Even in the Ohio bake shop. And CNN just can't handle it. And neither can Kamala Harris's surrogate. So the writing's on the wall, folks. Trump's surge and Harris's struggles aren't just poll numbers. They're a reflection of America's pulse. The people are speaking and they are rejecting the status quo. But here is the million-dollar question. Can the polls be trusted? Or are we looking at another 2016 scenario where the experts got it all wrong? America, your voice matters. So what do you think these poll numbers really mean for our nation's future? Let us know in the comments below. All right, what do you guys think? Let's check in with chat and see what you guys are saying. What's up, chat? Okay, okay. Let's see. The world will be gone if she is voted in. Newsom had big dinner parties. Yes, he did. Looks like the conversation is not entirely on topic at the moment. Okay, let's see here. Paula says, I fail to believe that Trump is not winning in the polls in Pennsylvania. Can't prove it by me. I live here and seeing the state going to Trump, drill, baby, drill. The voters are demanding policy outlines from Harris. Communist News Network in its regular form. Yep, true to form. Let's jump ahead to our final segment of the show. So we got Brick Suit with the rundown. Got a lot of cool video from the ground in Pennsylvania, some clips from Trump. Of course, Tucker was also in Pennsylvania with Alex and Jack Posobiec, and Zelensky making the rounds there too. Wow. Lots of wild stuff happening in Pennsylvania. So I'm not sure, where do we begin? Let's maybe start with yeah, okay. Good stuff. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Pennsylvania is on fire, and it's not just the fall foliage. We've got a perfect storm of patriotism brewing in the Keystone State. Trump's surprise grocery run for a struggling mother, a packed rally with thousands of MAGA faithful, including a surge of young voters. But that's not all. Tucker Carlson, the voice of reason, has teamed up with the indomitable Alex Jones, packing venues and electrifying crowds. Meanwhile, Zelensky's visit falls flat, and the liberal media is in full panic mode. Now, while we're talking about energy and vitality, let's talk about something that affects us all, aging after 20. Your body produces 12% less collagen each decade. That's why I swear by this magic secret powder. It's not your average supplement. It combines the top 5 collagen for skin health. We're talking reducing wrinkles, increased elasticity, and a youthful glow. And here's the kicker. It is 51% off right now at healthwithgary.com. Plus, you'll get free VIP coaching, an ebook on foods for amazing skin, and a 60-day guarantee. Don't let age slow you down. Visit healthwithgary.com after the show. All right, let's get into it. Lots to come in. Man, Pennsylvania was the place to be. Here is the persistence who says, you look at this video. He says, I've been to a lot of Trump rallies. This line is incredibly long. The amount of young people is shocking. Posting this to his X account. We've also got, I believe we got some pictures from the, this is the line for the Tucker Carlson event with Alex Jones and Jack Posobiec. The lines were crazy long, more than an hour before the show, and the place is packed with patriots. Here is one young lady who posted these pictures here. Where'd it go? Here he is. Look at these lines. All these people going to see Tucker and Alex and Jack Posobiec. Such a cool experience. Now, I went and saw Tucker in Milwaukee with RFK Jr. and Larry Elder, and that was an amazing moment. So I want to jump around here, because these were like competing events, but equally as powerful because Pennsylvania is turning up to really be a Keystone battleground state. All right, we need to win Pennsylvania. While on stage, Trump decided to destroy Jimmy Fallon. Let's listen to this.
He was under pressure. I go on his show, and he goes, "Is that your real hair?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you mind if I mess it up?" I said, "I'd prefer no." Do you remember this? I said, "I'd prefer it if you didn't, to be honest, but if you have to." So he grabs it, and he starts really going crazy, right? And everybody laughed, and it was a big thing, and it was a big hit. It was all over the place, and he got great ratings and all. And 6 months later, he went out because he was under pressure to apologize because he humanized Donald Trump. Do you remember? And He stood up and he said, I'd like to apologize. 6 months ago or whatever it was, I messed up Donald Trump's hair and it humanized him and he became president. And I would like to apologize. How weak and pathetic is a guy like that? And
yeah, definitely weak and pathetic behavior. Now, ahead of the event, Donald Trump bought groceries for a mother of 3 in Pennsylvania. While en route to the rally in Indiana, Pennsylvania, Trump stopped at a Sprinkles Market, buying popcorn and paying for the groceries of a mother of 3.
Take the rest of it. Here, it's going to go down a little bit. It just went down $100.
Thank you so much.
We'll do that for you from the White House, all right?
Thank you.
All right, bye. Nice seeing you, everybody. Beautiful. They're your kids?
Yeah, they are. 3 boys.
Perfecto. Perfect.
Here's more.
Look at that stuff. Just have it. We got to get it.
My mom just got a bag of that, actually.
Is it good stuff? Good?
She says it's the best.
Is that the best?
She says it's the best.
If it is, I'll be in Washington, D.C., hopefully in the Oval Office. I'll send for popcorn. Okay?
Appreciate it.
Get your popcorn ready, folks. Here's Trump. Look at that. Look at that lady. She's just hugging him. How beautiful is that? Here's more.
Honestly, the best crew in the world. We got
So
the best
how do you
crew.
do against the big dogs?
You know, I'm very proud because every year we've been up, except for the last 3 years because of this inflation. It's exactly what you said. The prices are up, but our sales are down. So we've had to get super creative in how we use our space to try to.
Prices go up and yet your sales are down.
Yeah. So it's been brutal just to try to. Thankfully, I have a great crew, great staff, my family. We work together.
Wow. Now, we've got, I want to get some of this footage. Here is Alex and Jack and Tucker at the meet and greet. Packed house. Look at that. Look at that lineup. Man. And of course, Zelensky was there in Pennsylvania as well. Pennsylvania doesn't welcome Zelensky because we don't support war. He was there with Governor Josh Shapiro. Proud to welcome President Zelensky. Standing with the people of Ukraine and fighting for freedom. And of course, while he was there, they decided that they would sign some armaments that are going to kill hundreds, if not thousands of people. I just look at this and I see them signing these things and I just think it's just disgusting. The president of Ukraine in Scranton, Pennsylvania, sending artillery shells with the head of the Secret Service. Before we get to this powerful clip of Alex and Tucker together, while Trump was there in Pennsylvania, he promised to expose and prosecute every single person who was involved in the theft of the 2020 election, including the executives at Facebook and Google. Google, are you listening? I'm sure you're listening now after what Texas just did to you.
You see all the stuff that Google and Facebook, you know what, they got caught cheating on the last election, the bad things they did, the 51 agents and all of the stuff, the laptop. Remember, it was Russia. It was Russia. No, it was Hunter, as we said. And they affected the election very much. It came out many points, 11 points, 12 points. But that's what we have. And we can never let that happen again. And I said, we're going to go after anybody that gets caught cheating on the election. We're going to go after them harder than anyone's ever been sought before. Because these people are really a threat. They are a threat to democracy. The Democrats are a threat to democracy. That's the real threat. You see all the stuff that Google.
Donald Trump knows what's going on. He knows what's going on. And another person who knows what's going on is Alex Jones. And this is what he said when we get Trump elected. Listen to this. And the crowd goes absolutely bonkers.
Anyway, thank you. Well, thanks for having me. I gotta say, love you. This is a beautiful state full of beautiful people, And when we get President Trump elected, all of us together are going to lift the curse off of this country, and we're going to send the globalists to prison. And it is amazing to meet all these great people, and whether they're black, white, old, young, to see the electricity in people's eyes that are populous and that are Americans and that love God and that love children and love freedom and hate tyranny. I can feel the strength in this auditorium and capacity in Pennsylvania.
So anyway.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, man. To be in that room. I wanted to be there. I really did. And I'm really bummed that I wasn't there. Yeah. I already reached out to Alex's team about that, but anyway, let's take a listen to Brick Suit. You might know this guy. He shows up to like every single rally. I don't know. Does this guy have a job? Does he have a job? Is his only job going to Trump rallies? How many suits does this guy have? Because I hope he has more than one. I really do. Unless he's dry cleaning at every show. But let's listen to his breakdown of Trump's rally here.
Putting too much weight. Okay, little rally recap here. I am at Sheetz. I'm still in Indiana, Pennsylvania. Want to get some thoughts out while they're still fresh in my mind. I thought the number one thing I took away from tonight's rally wasn't so much that it wasn't exactly a policy that President Trump talked about. It was more about the need for voter outreach and voter registration, and for people to make their plan to vote if they're voting early in person, however they're going to vote, to make their plan and to follow through on it. It's going to be about turnout. And he talked about the polls. He said we're looking good. But again, he also said ignore them. Pretend we're down. And that's really what we should do. We really shouldn't be putting too much weight in the polls. We should be controlling what we can control. That's our own individual vote. Everybody needs to do that first. Find out if you are registered. Make sure your registration is current. Make sure you're good to go. Make your plan to vote, and then do it. And then once you've done that, you can work on asking your friends if they're registered. Because even at a rally like tonight's rally, there's still 10% of the people who go to it aren't even registered to vote. And so in your job or wherever you're working or your friend group, you may have people that you think are solidly aboard for President Trump and actually do support him and yet are not registered. So after you take care of yourself, after you get your vote taken care of, then it's time to move on to getting other people motivated to be registered and to vote for President Trump. And in the case of Pennsylvania, important Senate election as well, Dave McCormick, we want to be supporting him also. So that's really what I thought. I think that's increasingly, I think, going to be the message. I think it's going to be it's going to be less about introducing new policies. Always going to emphasize the ones that make sense, but we're going to see an increasing amount of emphasis on making sure people are registered and that they're going out and voting. So tonight, it's looking like the rallies are coming like I thought. They're going to be very, very close together. There's one tomorrow in Savannah. I thought about going straight to that one. Really didn't have the time because that was a 1 p.m. start. So just about, let's see what time it is. It is 11:10, so it's almost Tuesday right now. There is a rally in North Carolina on Wednesday. I'm going to go to that one. Then there is a rally on Friday near Grand Rapids. I'm going to go to that one. And then there is on Saturday, there's one in Wisconsin. I'll probably go to that one as well. So got a couple rallies or remarks, and they're not all full-scale rallies like tonight's one was. The other ones may be a little bit smaller. But I am going to go to those important swing states, want to get to those three, and we'll take it from there. And it looks like Butler on the 5th, so have to start planning for that. Okay, everybody take care. I'm not going to try and make that whole drive tonight. I figure I've got about maybe 2 or 3 hours in me. I'm still a little bit on West Coast time, so I'm not super tired. And, I'll find a good place to stop between here and North Carolina and make the rest of the drive tomorrow. That's about it. Everybody take care.
Right on,
Okay.
right on. This guy's driving all over the country. Do you got a job, man? All right. So, as you heard him say, there is going to be a rally. Trump's going to be in Butler on. I didn't catch the date. I think we did bookmark it here, but I wanted to bring out an interesting reply that I had made to a post that was. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, you know what? I didn't get to that one Kimberly Guilfoyle. I might as well. Here, I'll bring it up now because Kimberly Guilfoyle, and I totally forgot to bring this up in the last report, but she had a post where she says, class, take your seats. Here's a perfect lesson on how fake news becomes a fake headline. Harris gets a stunning endorsement from a group that normally backs Trump. The group, Police Leaders for Community Safety. It was formed literally in June of 2024. It didn't even exist in 2016 or 2020, so how could they normally back Trump? It's a fake Democrat-aligned group designed to push a false narrative, and the media takes it hook, line, and sinker. Meanwhile, the nation's oldest and largest police organization, the Fraternal Order of Police, proudly endorsed President Trump, but the fact is buried at the bottom of the article. Kamala's campaign is based on nothing but lies, deception, and smoke and mirrors. But if you do your homework, you can spot it a mile away. Class dismissed. I responded to her. I said, spot on. They create these fake groups out of thin air just to push their narrative, and the media happily runs with it. The desperation is real. Meanwhile, the real endorsements like the Fraternal Order of Police for Trump get buried at the bottom. It is smoke and mirrors from Kamala and her crew. Keep exposing the lies. But there was another post that I wanted to bring up to your attention here. Let's see. Okay, this is from Leading Report. There is a 250,000 ballot requests swing towards Republicans and away from Democrats in Pennsylvania at this point in the race compared to 2020. Trump lost the state by 80,000 votes in 2020. Yeah, they all just showed up in the middle of the night, right? So I sarcastically responded, so the Dems need to create 300,000 fake ones then, right? That's why it's important to get out and register. Make sure your friends are registered so that we can beat the cheat. All right? So, friends, Pennsylvania isn't just a battleground state. It's become ground zero for the fight for America's soul. Trump's connection with everyday Americans, the Tucker-Jones alliance, the youth surge, it's all pointing to a sea change. But here's what we need to know. Is this the beginning of a red wave that will sweep the nation? Or will the establishment find a way to stem the tide? America, the power's in your hands. So what do you think that these events in Pennsylvania mean for our country's future? Sound off below. All right. And now let's get to your sounding off in the chat room. Yeah, Jeanette brings up an interesting point. I can't believe you would go to a Trump rally and not be registered to vote. Yeah, Bricksuit said 10% of people that attend are not even registered. That's a lot of people when you think about it. Let's see. Light Connection 1. Trump is the bravest president ever. Scott Edwards says he's traveling the circuit. Let's see. Any MS? Always like AJ. He reminds me of William Cooper, whom was killed by the FBI. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's get some more of your comments here. Maybe Joe and Hunter can share a cell. I would just like to go and see Trump. I'll tell you, the time that I met Trump was amazing. I met him in Milwaukee. I think it was like 2019. And we had photographs scheduled, a long line of people. You guys probably heard this story, but I'll be brief about it. When we met President Trump, we had to bring a little card with us to take our photograph, and only my name was on the card. And I go up to Secret Service and I ask the Secret Service, I say, well, my wife's supposed to be in the picture. They said, well, she can't because there's additional background checks that are required for your wife to be in the photo, and since those didn't happen, she can't be in the picture. I asked every Secret Service agent that day, and they all told me no. So I went in line by myself, and my wife went back and she sat down at the table with our family in the tent in Milwaukee in this beautiful mansion, and it was my turn to go up to get my picture with the president. And of course, the president was accustomed to everyone being very joyful and, excited to have a picture with him. And why wouldn't you? So I walk up, though, and I had this long look on my face, and he actually took a step back. And he goes, is there a problem here? Which is really like if you think about the jarring disruption of that moment, when everyone's like, hey, I'm so happy to see you. And I walk up and I'm like, is there a problem here? He says. And I go, my wife is supposed to be in this picture, but someone left her name off the card. And he looks at me and he goes, well, then you better go get your wife. And I spun around. And I think about it now. I'm like, did I turn my back on him? Like, oh my God, how disrespectful is that? I hope I didn't. And I spin around and I point to the Secret Service agents in the back corners of this room. I said, did you hear that? And they said, yes, sir. And the deputy chief of staff ushers me out of the photo room, asked me what my wife was wearing, and I described it. And in fact, Brian, pull up the triple box with the vertical, because I do have that photograph here on my phone. It is the vertical picture. My wife is actually standing to the left of President Trump in this picture. But since it's a vertical and this is my phone, I just, I didn't mean to crop my wife off. Okay. It wasn't like some intentional narcissistic thing. Okay. But that's the photograph that we took. So they usher me out of the room. They ask what she's wearing. I explain what she's wearing. They go and get her. Now, she'd already had a couple drinks, and she's like, I see her through this window of this beautiful mansion, and she's being ushered by 2 Secret Service agents on each side. And she comes to this beautiful garden entryway. She has her hands over her mouth, and she goes, you didn't forget me. You didn't forget me. So I'll never forget you. And she ran to me, and we embraced. And it was just this really beautiful moment. And I look up as I'm hugging my wife, and I see the Secret Service agent, one of them in the other corner of this library, like wiping his eyes. Like, this is a big guy, right? And I look and I see the deputy chief of staff, this tall blonde woman in a pantsuit. I mean, she was taller than me. She's got a little misty eye going on. And then she taps me on the shoulder. She says, sir, we have to go. We have to take the picture. President's on a schedule. So I grabbed my wife's arm. I said, let's go meet the president. And we ran off to meet the president. And there was a lady there. She was the lady of the house. I believe she was a widow. And this was her moment with the president, right? She's the one that organized this whole thing. And she said, I heard her say, now it's my turn. I'm the last one. And the deputy chief of staff steps in and goes, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. They're next. And it wasn't my intention to ruin this woman's moment with the president, but that happened, it just happened that way. So they kind of usher her off. She takes her picture and ushered off. And I'm sure she was really, really upset. So I take the picture. I walk up with my wife, and introduce my wife, and we take the picture. And then I say, after the picture, I thank him. I go, Mr. President, we have over 1 billion views for you on YouTube, sir. And he looks at me. I hand him a card, and he looks at me and he goes, well, you better, after what I just did. And I walk out, and the Secret Service agent who initially told me that I couldn't get the picture taken says, she pats me on the shoulder. She was a shorter woman. I wonder if she's on any of the details now, but I don't recognize her. I would recognize her if I saw her. But she pats me on the back and she goes, well done. You did good. Because and I remember being in line thinking about that was the only thing I could do. The only thing I could do to get my wife in that picture was to ask the President of the United States. And that's what he did. I asked the Commander-in-Chief to override Secret Service protocol for my wife to get in the photo. I will never forget that moment, man. It was something beautiful. It really, really was. Come to find out that somebody got in big trouble after that event for getting to inquire about the names on my list. And well, that's another story. Apparently, I guess it was continued after we went to Waukesha some months later to see the president speak. I got a little bit of a headache, sorry. And well, apparently the woman who had gotten in trouble in Milwaukee was one of the same people in charge of Waukesha, the Waukesha rally. And it was freezing cold. We bought VIP tickets back then when YouTube money was flowing freely. And we bought tickets for myself, my wife, my 3 kids, and my niece to go see President Trump speak. So we got this little VIP experience where, beforehand we get to have like some cheap sandwiches. I mean, for the price of those tickets, they should have had prime rib for us. But no, they had some cheap sandwiches and some like White Claw or something, nothing fancy. And after that little reception, I thought Trump was going to show up in the reception. Never did. After the reception, we go out into the VIP seating area. And we saw Rick Grinnell, got a picture with him. And my kids, when they saw Trump, they were just overjoyed. The pictures from that day are beautiful. But it was so cold, and we were waiting for Trump forever. It was freezing cold. We just were not prepared for that level of cold. And my wife had asked the lady about that room. Can we go back to the hangar where the reception was, and can we stay there until President Trump shows up? And the lady says, no, that room's going to be closed. So I take my son off to the bathroom, just me and him. And my wife's like, I'm going to go check on that room. Okay, I'll be back over there. So I come walking back, and I just walk right into the room, and I see everybody standing around. I see Rick Grinnell sitting off on the side, and something had just taken place. Something dramatic had just taken place. I don't think I've ever told this story. Well, no, I don't believe I ever have. So what happens next is, I did not know what had just transpired. And I walk up to Rick Grinnell, and I ask him, because remember, he was the director of national intelligence. And I walk up to him, and I go, so how bad was it? Now, I was inferring with my question with respect to the spying on the campaign, the spying on Trump. Now, I could have been more clear and said how bad was the spying on Trump's campaign, but for whatever reason, I was more cryptic with my question. I don't even remember his response. But then I find out that my wife, when she came in with the kids that were freezing, and we were just talking about this the other day, she She walks into the hangar and she looks at that woman and she points at her and she goes, "You." Now, one thing you don't mess with. You don't mess with a Greek woman and her 3 boys. No, no, no. I know that firsthand. And she points at this woman. She tells me, she points at the woman, says, "You tell everyone in this room what you told me, that this room was going to be locked. You tell everyone that you're a liar." And everybody was just like, "Oh my God." Apparently, this woman runs off with her tail between her legs. And another person who was one of the organizers came up to my wife and told her, "Thank you for doing that, because this woman is out of control." Nobody in that room ever had the courage to stand up to this woman. But my wife did. Now, of course, we were not connected to the organizers. We were just simply high-paying VIP attendees. All right? I think the tickets were like $2,500 for our tickets. Now, times that by 6. Okay? It wasn't a cheap event to go to. So, of course, you have some expectations. But this woman lied to my wife, and turns out, just a few moments later, no, I honestly didn't know what had happened, and my wife had to explain to me, and I was trying to piece together all the details, and then the Secret Service comes walking in. The Secret Service takes Rick Grinnell. Well, first Secret Service kind of does a lap around us to try to, like, ascertain if we were really a threat, you know? Like my wife, yeah, like my wife's really gonna be a threat, okay? She got 3 freezing kids. She's not a threat, right? She wants to keep her kids warm. And he does a lap, and then I just, whatever. I'm gonna take the kids. I'm gonna go right up to Secret Service. I take the kids up to Secret Service, and I explain to them that these are the guys that protect the president. But that was years ago when they used to protect the president. And we all took a picture in this airplane hangar. And then I see them go and they take Rick Grinnell, because he's basically the highest ranking former official in the room. And if there's anyone's word they're going to take for the events that transpired, they're going to get his testimony. So they grab Rick Grinnell, they walk him back to the back of the hangar, and they had a conversation with him. And I'm watching this. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, honey, what did you do? What the hell did you do?" Well, eventually we walked back out to the rally grounds and got to our seats, and we saw the president come out, and it was a beautiful moment. The look on my son's face when he saw President Trump, man, it's just the most beautiful picture ever. Yeah, so that was kind of funny. Good little story there. Thought I'd share that with you. Okay, let's see here. Let's as long as we're here, let's take a look at some of the latest happenings on X as the news is happening. Haitian nonprofit files criminal charges against Trump, claiming harassment. Let's see. May 2024, Georgia State Election Board found Fulton County double scanned ballots. Holy cow. And they didn't keep the ballot images as required by law. Over 380,000 ballot images missing from Election Day. And the mainstream media is still silent. Let's see. Hamas launching rockets from refugee tents. I have not been keeping track of what's going on with Speaker Johnson lately, but I've seen a lot of people not happy with him. This man, Eric's fed up, says we're stuck with this worthless turncoat as speaker until Donald Trump retakes the White House, then fire his ass. Crypto lawyer, this was a a story that broke earlier today. I alluded to it in the first segment. You can just read what's on the screen there. Son of Ryan Routh, accused in Trump assassination attempt, arrested for possession of certain things. Let's see. Persistence. So proud of our team. Are you guys not seeing this on the screen? Ryan, are you there? I'm trying to show everybody what's on the screen, but I don't see it on the feed. Where's Brian? Ryan, lose connection again? I'm sitting here showing everybody what's on the screen here, but you're not paying attention. Persistence. So proud of our team for registering 103 voters at the Trump rally in Indiana County, PA. Former FTX cryptocurrency executive is sentenced to 2 years in prison for fraud. I will fix things if you vote me in office, says woman currently in office. Oh, this is a viral video going crazy. Kid steals a car, drives it back to his mother. Johnny Cash's statue unveiled at the U.S. Capitol. Brian Fraser says this is how Kamala Harris got her start. Now, these photographs, I believe, were actually doctored photographs. So don't believe your eyes there. Okay, so this is why everyone's pissed off at Speaker Johnson. Speaker Johnson says it would be political malpractice to shut the government down by attaching the SAVE Act to the continuing resolution. No, the SAVE Act needs to be added. It needs to be. Because the SAVE Act is going to prevent people from illegally voting in this country. So why he won't do that? No good. Okay. All right. We're going to get these segments clipped out for you. Wait a second. Let's see what this is. A Benny Johnson clip. Interviews college kids and asks if they support Trump after his second attempt. Listen.
Probably Trump. Trump or Kamala, what do you think? F***ing Trump! Trump 2024! Trump! If he ain't dead, I'm voting red.
I'm voting Trump.
Two-time assassination attempt survivor.
I know, it's pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie.
Bulletproof.
Hella aura right there.
That's a hella
so
aura.
Much aura, so much aura.
Trump. Who you going with? Trump.
Trump.
Probably Trump.
Trump, of course.
Yeah, 2024.
Yes, sir. Definitely more Trump.
Trump or Kamala?
Trump.
Oh, Trump. Trump 24.
At this point, I got Kanye.
Kanye wore a MAGA hat at the White House, so it's respectable. Trump or Kamala, what are we thinking, man?
Trump, man.
Trump,
All
yes.
the way. You know who I got. Trump, let's go.
That's right, Trump.
All the way.
People try to kill him because he's right. I mean, what can I say? He's speaking the truth.
Gotta keep him in there, gotta keep him alive. Save the country.
Trump or Kamala?
Kamala, because I want to get an abortion if I need to get an abortion.
Bye. Go home to mommy. Go home to mommy.
Trump or Kamala, what do you think?
F***ing Trump. Trump 20.
All right, folks. That's a wrap on the show today. There you have it. What a show it's been. We've taken you through a journey of stories the mainstream media do not want you to see, the truths that they're desperate to hide. We started with the chilling revelation of Ryan Routh's letter putting a $150,000 bounty on President Trump's head. The DOJ's decision to release the information isn't just puzzling, it is downright suspicious. We're witnessing a thinly veiled threat against a political opponent. You decide. Then we exposed the 741 former officials rallying behind Kamala Harris. This is not just an endorsement, it's the deep state circling the wagons. They're terrified of losing their grip on power, and they're not even trying to hide it anymore. Then we pulled back the curtain on the New York City COVID czar, caught living it up, having sex parties while the rest of us were locked down. It's hypocrisy of the highest order, and it begs the question, what other lies have we been fed? Latest polls show Trump surging ahead in key swing states, while Kamala Harris struggles to articulate a coherent vision for America. The mainstream media is in full panic mode, but we are here bringing you the unvarnished truth. And let's not forget the fireworks in Pennsylvania. Trump connecting with everyday Americans, Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones packing venues, and a surge of young MAGA supporters that has the establishment quaking in their boots. Now, I need to level with you. Bringing you this kind of hard-hitting, no-holds-barred journalism is not easy. The powers that be would love nothing more than to silence us, and that's why we need your support now than ever, especially after this episode. So if you value the truth, if you believe in what we're doing here, I'm asking you to step up, donate to keep this show on the air. Tell a friend about us and spread the word. You'll find links down below. Because make no mistake, this isn't just about a TV show. It's about the future of our republic. This is about preserving the America we know and love for our children and grandchildren. So stay vigilant, stay informed, and above all, stay free. Until next time, America, good night.